Welcome to Beyond the Caseload, Mission, Laughs, and Life at PPT, where we talk honestly about life in pediatric therapy, the chaos, the laughs, the growth, and the moments that make it all worth it. Your hosts are Regina, a speech-language pathologist and rehab director of West Palm Beach, and Tara, HR director, bringing you real conversations from Beyond the Caseload. Hi, welcome to Beyond the Caseload, where we take you behind the scenes of all things pediatric therapy. I am Regina. I am the Rehab director at our West Palm Beach location.
And I'm Tara. I'm the Human Resources Director for Progressive Pediatric Therapy.
And today we're going to talk about our 7 core values at the company. These are really important to us because it's basically what our foundation as a company is built on. So I'll read you guys our statement here with our core values. Our 7 core values stand together. One cannot be practiced without the others. As an organization committed to diversity, we will practice these values to foster a culture of respect and inclusion throughout our organization and community. So let's break down all of our core values. Our core values are passion for making a difference, accountability, excellence, honesty and integrity, teamwork and collaboration, diversity and inclusion, and innovation.
Okay, let's start at the beginning. Passion for making a difference. How does passion show up in the way we care for both the child and the family beyond the therapy session itself?
Yeah, I think this is something I always look for in a candidate too, and we've talked about this too in previous episodes, is that passion to make a difference. This is a hard field. Whether you're an OT or PT, you're working with children and they're precious. And we do more than just treat the child here. This is a family-centered practice, especially these little ones. You're working really closely with the parents too. You have to adapt and give strategies and home programming that's going to fit each individual family and each individual child. So it's really our passion to working with the families, and then also our community settings, passion with working with the teachers at the preschools we're at, or working with the nurses at the medical daycare, and really coming together that we're a team and we're all here for that same purpose, which is to help these children. Our second core value is accountability. Tara, why is accountability essential to our company's growth?
Okay, we hold ourselves and our patients accountable, and growth just doesn't happen by accident. We all have to be accountable. As a therapist, you're accountable to show up for your patients and carry out that plan of care. And as a patient, you're accountable to come to therapy. And as a parent, you're accountable to bring your child to therapy. For me, as an HR director, I'm accountable to make sure that our staff is happy, the culture is good, that everybody gets paid. So if we have a holiday week and we're closing, everyone still has to get paid. So I'm accountable to pay. Our CEO is always accountable to make sure that she is creating new effective policies and that all the bills are being paid, that the building is here.
Yeah.
So we're all accountable to everything. So that's how we are accountable.
Yeah, I love it.
All right, our next one is excellence. What does excellence look like every day in pediatric therapy?
Yes, I love it. So I think this is what makes us stand out as a company in general, because we pride ourselves on the highest standard of therapy because we want to be known for that. We want to be known that parents know that they could bring their child here and it'll make a difference. So we believe that none of these core values stand alone, right? So we have to be accountable to always want to do excellent therapy, that we don't get complacent, that we're constantly looking into better approaches to provide that high standard of care that we want to provide our children and provide our families and provide for those kids in these community settings too. Our next core value is honesty and integrity, which is super important. So, Tara, my question for you is, how do honesty and integrity guide our decisions, especially when faced with difficult conversations or challenges?
Okay, at all times we have to approach our company and our practices with honesty and integrity and transparency.
Yeah.
Not all conversations are easy. If somebody does not adhere to one of our core values, then we have to sit them down. We try to do it with as much kindness as possible, but we do have to let you know that if something happens that does not go within our core values, that this happened and we need to make it right, number one.
Yeah.
And number two, we can't have it happen again. So we try our best to adhere and make sure that we are being honest and transparent with all of our parents, our staff, our family, and our community partners.
Yeah, and I think even from a therapy perspective too, like we want to show that same honesty and integrity to our parents. All the time we'll get that very first early intervention, maybe 2-year-old who comes in and mom has no idea that maybe their child has autism or no idea that there's a learning difference or something going on. And it's our kind of job to be honest with that parent and say, hey, I know you want to do this and this with your child, but I think they learn better when you're sitting and playing with them. And just being honest, because that's the real foundation of everything too, is that if we're honest and we show that same kindness and same grace to our parents and our coworkers and everything, it helps keep everybody accountable, but it also keeps our mission moving forward.
Yes, for sure. And that brings us to teamwork and collaboration. So how does working together across all the disciplines help strengthen our community?
Yeah, so I love this question because I think this core value is so important just with our culture, with what we do, because we are a multidisciplinary practice, meaning we have physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy, and feeding therapy that we all work together. One of our managers in West Palm, Mary, who's been with us for, I think, 13 years, she has a very funny saying where she says, when you get a child, you don't give the hands of the child to the OT and give the legs to the PT and give the mouth to the speech therapist. You don't break apart a child like that. You're working with a whole package.
True.
So as a speech therapist, I have to be mindful of what things that maybe OT is working on, or how I could support that child, or if I'm doing feeding therapy and this little person is not yet holding themselves up, how do I collaborate with the PTs or the OTs or the other therapists to support that child in that way so that I can help with my part.
So do you go and meet with them? Like, how do you collaborate with them?
Yeah, we have a couple of different things. So sometimes we'll just do a shout out in our little group chat and say, is there a PT available to look at my friend? That's more informal, a little bit more fun. But we also have weekly discipline and clinic meetings. Okay. Discipline meaning like your discipline, like your speech department, your OT department, your PT department. And those are the times that we get to do our case studies or maybe collaborate with your team so that you can better work with that child. So sometimes it's just with your discipline. Other times it's, hey, we're going to talk about Joey Smith. Any therapist who's treated Joey Smith, let's meet on Thursday at noon, and we get to talk about that child and from a multidisciplinary approach. Yeah, and it's really just a nice, valuable time to just really reflect and see like what other ideas that we can throw out there to help these kids. All right, so another one of our core values is diversity and inclusion. Tara, why is diversity within our team and inclusivity in our care critical to achieving the best outcomes for children?
Yeah, so we find that diversity within our families, our community, and our staff is really important. Having a diverse caseload, being able to treat diverse kinds of families, having a staff that's diverse, maybe somebody speaks a language that can help translate in an evaluation, maybe somebody wants to help with planning of a party. So we have all these different people from all these different places that make up our culture and help us to feel like we're all part of the same team, but we all have different pieces that we bring together and we get to enjoy all of their culture and they get to enjoy ours. It's amazing to look around and see all these faces and know that everybody is from different walks of life, but yet we come together here at this one place, all for the same result of helping children and families and serving our community. So that's our one ultimate goal.
I love it. Yeah. And being in South Florida, we work with such a diverse, and we're in a culturally rich area.
Yes.
So what better way than to have a staff that kind of reflects that?
Exactly. So innovation is our last core value. So how does innovation help us better serve the children and families while preparing for the future of pediatric therapy that's always changing?
Always changing. So at PPT, we want to be the innovative leaders in pediatric therapy. We're continuously trying to improve our processes. We're continuously trying to find out the newest evidence-based approaches. We have our PPT for Ed, which is our nonprofit, where we provide education to our community, to other therapists, because we want to always be involved in that innovation piece. And it's important because we are in a world that's changing and technology is always evolving. So we have to keep up with that. And I think because of that, because again, all these core values relate to each other, it keeps us accountable, it keeps us providing excellent care, and it keeps that teamwork and collaboration, so it keeps it going because we're all moving forward together. And as a culture, that's so important to us. And with the population that we serve, it's so important to constantly be on top of that.
And we love when our staff brings us innovative ideas as well. We try to implement as many as we can. So encourage everyone to bring us their ideas. And our CEO, Amy, goes around and does a connection series with our staff to try to get those ideas out of them, where she'll sit and they'll come and they'll tell her what their ideas are. And that's how she prepares for the next year and makes our goals, by listening to our staff. We used to do a staff survey, which was also wonderful too, but now she gets to hear them and connect with them. And this is the way that we're always being innovative and changing.
Love it. That's awesome. Thank you for joining us on our core values episode. We hope you learned something and got a little idea of who we are as a company and as a culture. And tune in next time.
Have a great day.
Thanks for listening to Beyond the Caseload. Before we wrap up, a huge thank you to our sponsor, Galileo for Kids, a science-backed whole body vibration supporting strength, balance, and meaningful progress in pediatric therapy. If today's episode resonated with you, share it with a colleague or a friend who could use it. And don't forget to follow so you never miss an episode. Until next time, take care of your kids, your caseload, and yourself, because there's always more beyond the caseload.